Hey gang, John here with your pre-Christmas micro lesson. Today talking about the glide. We're going to be using the glide in a pretty cool way this week that's going to allow you to replicate a really cool, fun Christmas song. It's actually a song that we are working on this week with some of our groups, and I thought it was a nice transition into the season. I try not to give a heavy song before the holiday break. I know there's a lot going on, so even though sometimes you have a little bit more time, physical time, that you're able to sit down and play the keys, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So we're going to have a fun song we're going to work on today. We're going to talk a little bit about the glide. I'll be back later on, and we'll wrap up. Okay, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, gang, so a really cool arranging technique that we're going to go over today. And I'm going to show it to you on the Yamaha Clavinova, and then we can take a walk over to the Lowrey as well. It has to do with utilizing what is known on the Lowrey as the glide, what is known on the Yamahas as something called pitch bend. And they are one and the same. And what they allow you to do is to temporarily deviate the pitch that a note gives you when you strike the key. And this is something that is done relatively often on string instruments. It's not only string instruments, something like a trombone, for example, can bend notes to certain degrees, and violins. A Hawaiian guitar is a big, an instrument which often utilizes the pitch bend or the glide, one way or the other. But anyhow, I wanted to show you a really cool way to alter the pitch bend, because on some instruments, some of the higher end Lowrys, so those of you with Patriots and Arias and Rialtos and Inspires, so your upper about 2 to 3 class sizes have the ability not only to bend the notes, which is true for virtually all Lowrys. Well, it is with all Lowrys now. You can decide how far you want the notes to bend, and you can also decide whether you want the notes to bend up or down. So normally, I know with the Lowrys, you can bend the notes down by a half step. So basically, if you play a C, you're going to hear the note which is directly to the left of it. Now, in the case of the C, it would be a D. The case of most white keys, it would be a black key. And the key with Lowrys is you have to choose an instrument that can actually do it. Otherwise, they tend to sustain the note as opposed to bend the note. So if we were to go with something, for example, like the violin. So here's a violin here. Now, if I wanted to set my instrument, mind you, I'm on a Clavinova right now. If I wanted to set my instrument to bend a note, what I would do is I would go into the features. Now, easiest way for me would be to put it on the assignable option here on the foot pedals. And you can see right now I have sustain, sostenuto, and soft. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sustain option, which is what's holding that note. I'm hitting the key, and I'm going to choose it. And try that again. One of the options is something called pitch bend. So I'm going to go ahead and choose pitch bend and close it out. And now if I go over to the gear, I can change how much it bends and which way it bends. So right now you can see it's at a range of 2. So I'm going to go down, because this is what Lowrys do, is they do a range of 1. And if I hit the C, and then I hold down the right foot pedal, I'm hitting the same note, but I'm getting the sound of a B. And when I let my foot go, it bends right up where it needs to. And you can really bend those notes in a very authentic way. Now, one thing that's really cool is that you can change from bending the notes down to up, and you can change the range to go all the way up to the highest number, which is 12. Now here's where this gets really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my options here. I have the violin, as you can see, and I'm going to go over to the vocals. And I'm going to choose just the first vocal that comes up, called Shoo-Be-Doo-Bah. Okay? And now remember what I did. I went in, let me show you again. I went into my assignable foot pedals and I went to the right foot switch, or the right foot pedal rather, changed it to pitch bend. There are all of these different options I could have chosen. I changed it to pitch bend, closed it out, went to the gears, and moved it up 12. Now, it's not just simply up 12 keys. A lot of students assume, well, it's just 12 keys over. Not necessarily the case. In this case, what it's going to do is it's going to change the pitch such that it's going to make a vocal sound which sounds like this. Shoo-be-doo-bah, shoo-be-doo-bah, shoo-be-doo-bah. And it's going to make it sound pretty darn cool. So I'm going to put some chords on here for a second so you can really hear this. So here's a C chord, there's an F, and here's a G. Now watch what happens to these keys. I'm going to move my camera down here just a little bit so you can watch my keys. You can see I'm not doing any funny business here. So here are my keys. Now I'm going to hold down that foot switch. Listen to the same keys. What a perfect sound to use for the Chipmunks Christmas song. Isn't that so cool? So now you have just the regular vocal. But what it did is it sped it up. If you want to think of it this way, think of those numbers as it being 12 times faster. That's a kind of an easy way to think about it. I want to say it's really accurate, but it's an easy way to think about it. So it's taking this note, and it's not just playing it an octave higher. I mean, that does sound higher. But listen to the difference with that and this. So now we have Alvin and the Chipmunks. There are 3 of them. So let's go back to our screen here. And we're going to go to the keyboard harmony. And I'm going to choose the keyboard harmony called Standard Trio. There's Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to turn it on. Okay. Now, with my chords set and my foot firmly placed on that pedal, now normally I'd get this, which sounds good. Shoo-be-doo-bah, 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 shoo-be. Listen to it now. So now if you bring in a beat, that song's a waltz, so we bring in our beat here. We have the Shoo-Be-Doo-Bahs with the vocal, with that foot switch, and you can really get a great sound. Here's my waltz beat, and here are my Chipmunks. How cool is that? Now we're going to take our walk over to the Lowrey Inspire that I have here at the studio, and we'll go over how we would do it on there. Okay, now I wanted to show you on the Yamaha first, because on the Lowrey it's actually a little bit easier to set up. But I wanted to show you specifically on the Yamaha because I think that there's this feeling in Lowrey land that that's the only way that you could set that up, is to go to that Chipmunks beat. And that's not the case. For those of you that have the Chipmunks song in your song setup, it's going to set up the exact same way. So what you would have to do is you would go into your features and you would scroll until you got to the section that said glide settings, and you can set yours to say custom. and you can set your distance, how far you want it to go. Now, minus would be down, which is what it's set at now, -1 being 1 key. So you'd actually want to change your distance to go up. So you touch it, and then you'd scroll, and you can go up a distance of 12, just like we did on the Clavinova. Now this, in the song setup, will set up automatically for you. So if I go to my keypad, I'm going to go to my alphabet, go to the letter C, song setup, and if I go to the Chipmunks, I'll get the correct beat. There we go, the Chipmunk song. But you notice here it says accordions and harmonica. Accordion here, harmonica down there. I'm going to go to my song setup here, and it's going to say Chipmunk, and then there's some dots that says use the glide. And it's going to do the same thing. So here's my kind of a scat singer, but with the glide on. And the Lowrey has a Chipmunks band built into it. So when I play my C chord, they've built a waltz with the Chipmunk singers in the background. Here are Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. About this ending is you hear the Chipmunks fighting amongst each other at the end. So you're gonna hear them sing the end and then listen to the tail end of the ending. Talk about a cool way to use the glide, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. I hope we taught you a new way that you can manipulate your instrument. I was talking to someone online yesterday, and I won't divulge his name out of anonymity here, but we were talking about how you feel like sometimes you know everything, and then you go into your features, and this is, for example, where you would manipulate these glide settings, and how sometimes you're just scratching the surface as to what your instrument is actually capable of doing. And we'll probably do a little bit more of that in the future, really go into the features and see what these instruments are capable of. We thank you for watching today. As I say every week, I know your time is valuable and I appreciate you wanting to spend some of it with us. If you're looking to reach out to us either to give us an idea for a future lesson or just a question on something we've gone over, you can call our studio directly. The phone number is area code 401-277-9800. You can feel free to stop by. Our address is 1665 Hartford Avenue in Johnston, Rhode Island. You can also reach us online in a variety of different ways. You can respond to this YouTube video, which you're watching right now. You can go to our Facebook page, just type in Keys to Fun Music and Lesson Center in the search bar, and we should come right up. You can also go to our website. Our website is keystofunmusic.com. Once you're on the website, you can either sign up for future lessons that will be emailed right to you. You can type into the chat box, which will show up to me, and I can respond directly back to you. Or you can just email us through the website. Our email address on the site is info@keystofunmusic.com. I thank you so much. We're going to get one more lesson in here, I think, before the end of the year, and we'll start 2020 off with our 17th year at Keys to Fun, teaching recreational music here. And I'm so blessed to have the job that I do, and to have so many grateful students. I really appreciate all the time, not only for those of you that watch at home, but those of you that walk through our door as well. And some of you do both, which I'm very, very grateful for. Okay, we'll see you soon. We'll often probably see you after the holidays, so I wish you a happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. And we'll see you probably just before the new year. Thank you so much, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, just reach out in any way that I mentioned earlier, and we'll get back to you soon. Thanks again.